Greetings! And welcome to the Chair Reviews, 2014 Part 1. Or if we were playing charades. So this is my quick countdown of my top films of the last year. And what a lovely year it's been. Really, really strong year. If last year was Arsenal, with a few good players up front, this year is Chelsea. Strength in depth, all the way through. Loving it, from indies to blockbusters. Everyone's up their game. Just been terrific. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm pleased to be doing this. I'm pleased to be doing it. So just a quick word to some non-runners, some also-rans. Begin Again, Nebraska, Frank, Black Sea, The Double, The Zero Theorem. None of which quite made it, but they're all very, very good films. Very interesting. And the last one, Starred Up, which I had to remove at the last minute for reasons which will become clear. Starring Jack O'Connell. Very good prison movie. So let's get on with the show. With a burp. Let's get on with the show. Number 20 is Under the Skin. A film with Scarlett Johansson, who plays an alien who comes down to Earth to meet lots of... She inhabits an alien skin. She comes down to meet lots of young men in Scotland and put them to a test, which, let's just leave it at that. But it's unpleasant. It's directed by Jonathan Glazer, who did Sexy Beast. And that film's got a kind of off-kilter sensibility. It's not a straightforward gangster. This ups it by 2,000%. It's really odd. A really, really strange film. It's quite an upsetting film. There's a certain sequence that I found really disturbing, but it's very compelling. It's in here because of its originality, except for the fact that it bears a fair resemblance to Nick Roeg's The Man Who Fell to Earth, starring David Bowie, from the 70s, 80s maybe. But it's original, and it's really good, and it's really compelling, and it's a strange one. So watch that, not for the faint of heart though, not if you're easily upset. So, let's get on. And number 19 is Pride. Very, very different film, Pride, in which a bunch of gays go up to start raising funds for the miners during the miners' strike in the old Thatcher years. It's really sweet. It's a lovely, lovely film. Lots of moving moments, lots of very funny moments, particularly around the miners and their kind of interactions with the gays. So they arrive and it's like, oh, thingy, your gays have arrived. It's a really amusing film, watching how these communities kind of interact. Very different communities. Very touching performances. Very funny. Just a lovely film. It made me... I was a bloody socialist by the end. Go on, give it to them. Give it to them. Good stuff. That's number 19. Number 18 is Unbroken. Very new film. I had to put this in yesterday. Quite controversially. Not because I was arguing with myself, but because I read some quite sniffy reviews about this today. I don't feel, as they do, that it's plodding or, kind of only good. I thought this was terrific, and the audience I was with was stunned into silence. There was no mobile phone use, no talking. It's the story of this guy, Louis Zammarini. I think it's Zammarini, sorry if I've got it wrong. And he is a bombardier in World War II, and also an Olympic runner. He's just this terrific guy, this guy who's fought all his life, and he has to fight through heffing hell in the Japanese theatre. It is terrific. It's a wonderful, wonderful film. Grueling, moving, made me jump out of my skin at one point with a proper yell like a div in the cinema. But it was terrific. I found this moving film, really, really good film. Loved it. Watch that. You might still find it on cinema, so that's good. Number 17 is Paddington. I did the review of Paddington. Beautiful, lovely Paddington. What a wonderful bear. Let's just leave it at that, because I did one. 16 is a film called Tracks, which I really, really, really liked. Possibly because I've done some adventuring on my own. Directed by John Curran, who I'm not aware of before this. Starring Mia Wasikowska, who I'm aware of, and I think is very, very good, depending on what she's in. Not Alice in Wonderland. But she's really, really good in this, and it's about an Australian woman who decides to walk across Australia just with 3 camels. She's bloody fed up with society, just wants to be on her own, and do this brilliant trek across Australia with a dog. So she's not quite on her own. But it's really, really good. Moving. I loved it. It's shot, it captures the vastness of Australia fantastically, and the loneliness of where she is. It's lovely. I think the performance by Mia is really, really good, because she's playing an Australian, and it's convincing to me, to my ear. And the way, I don't know, the way she carries herself through it, she really feels like she embodies this woman. It's her best performance that I've ever seen. Really, really liked it. I liked her in The Double as well. I thought she was excellent in that. But it's a good film. Tracks. Yeah, watch it. And then it'll make you want to go to Australia and possibly drive across it. But very, very good. The next one, number... Where are we? We're 15. Boyhood. This was the Richard Linklater film. Gosh, let me have a sip. Oh. The Richard Linklater film, which he filmed over 12 years. 12 years? Yeah, I think 12 years. Of the same boy every few days, every year, just for a few days. And makes this story about how he grows up, essentially. It's the story of a boy who grows up. And it's not just the story of him. The story of his family as well. Patricia Arquette plays the mum really brilliantly. And she goes through different partners and stuff. It's not spoiler territory, I don't think. But it's just watching this boy grow up. And as you're watching it, you grow into the experiment. You grow to appreciate it so much. You just go, wow, I'm actually watching a boy grow up. Granted, it's not his actual life story, but... It's really intriguing. A wonderful film. I don't think it stands up with Linklater's best. I don't think. People have called this, his masterpiece. I don't think it's his masterpiece. But it's really, really engaging. A lovely film. Just kind of poetic. Full of his nice dialogue about life. You know, normal Linklater stuff. He did the Before Sunrise, Before Midnight, etc. And lots of other good things. Dazed and Confused, obviously. But yeah, I really liked that one. Seek it out. About 3 hours long, but it kind of merits it. You know, it does fly by. It's a good one. So, let's just give you the first clunker of 2014. Because it can't just be... sorry. It can't just be all good, can it? It can't just be all good. So, the first clunker is Transformers... Age of Boredom. What a boring load of arse. It's just... I'm sure if this was the first film in the franchise, I might think, passable. But it just doesn't do anything different. There's a new load of robots. It's boring. It's just boring. It goes on forever. It kind of looks good, but it's just nothing new happening. I quite like the first one. I'm not anti-Michael Bay. I quite like the first one. Quite like The Island. This is just getting tedious now. Shake it up. Do something else. This is boring. That's it. Don't watch Transformers. Don't. The next film is... I've done them the wrong way around. Sorry. 14 was Boyhood. 15 is Blue Ruin. A film you probably haven't seen. Very small indie flick about a guy who is... a wreck following the murder of his family, murder of his parents when he was a bit younger. And this guy's an absolute wreck, and it starts off with him in a big beard, a guy called Macon Blair. And he's just an absolute wreck, and then he finds out that the guy who murdered his parents is being released from prison, and he goes on a revenge mission. And wow, is it tense. It's really good because there's no star in it, there's just this guy who is... You think he might just get killed at any point. There's some really, really tense scenes in this. He's going after these guys. Their families. The family comes after him. It's a real one of these southern kind of gothic-y type affairs. A bit like Cold in July, but better. Very tense, very good, very realistic. It feels like. And just good all the way up until the end. These people are scum. But it's a terrific film. Blue Ruin. Definitely seek that one out. The next thing is Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler. This is exhausting, by the way. Let me just have a... It's Nightcrawler, which I loved. I absolutely loved. Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by Dan Gilroy, brother of Tony, who's a big screenwriter, big screenwriting family. This is really, really good. Jake Gyllenhaal, he's such an arse. He's a sociopath, complete sociopath. The best example of one, really. Along with people like Rupert Pupkin from King of Comedy or something like that. He's just this nutcase who's desperate to be on TV. Well, he's desperate for a job at the beginning, and then he spies that TV news might be an easy fix. And so he starts jumping on this, starts jumping around filming accidents and stuff. It's beautifully shot, really, really clean lines. There's an amazing car chase in the film. Really, really spectacular. But the main thing about the film, Riz Ahmed's in it, who I really like. He's his partner. And the main thing I like about the film is Jake Gyllenhaal. His character, he's such an arse. It's brilliant. He's just a mentalist. But seek out Nightcrawler. I thought it was terrific. Again, it's quite upsetting, really. I mean, he's not a nice person, and but it's just good. It's just good. What's that? Right, Nightcrawler into X-Men. Whee! See what I've done there. X-Men Days of Future Past. It took me a couple of goes to like this one. It's really weird. I think I went to cinema. I was in a bit of a bad mood. Didn't quite take to it the first time. Saw it a second time. The X-Worlds collide. Patrick Stewart and... what's his face? You know the guy. I don't know his name now. Now it escapes me. But anyway, the worlds collide. It's the two X's. They've got to save the future in the past, in the 70s. It's really good. It's really colourful. It's beautifully shot. Bryan Singer's back in the chair. He directed the first two X-Men. It's excellent. Now I really love it. Yeah, I think it's the second best one after X2 or X-Men 2, whatever you like. So yeah. That's number 12. Number 11. We're nearly there. We're nearly there at the end of part 1. It's Inside Llewyn Davies. It's the Coens. It's, again, beautifully shot. The story of this failed musician who goes around failing, annoying people. He's an unpleasant character yet again. Another one for the list of the year. He's got this cat. It's just a wonderful story. It's the way it's shot. It's set kind of in the East Village, the folky scene in New York, Manhattan. But it's wonderful. Really, really good. Again, if you don't like nasty characters, then you probably won't find this to your liking. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. That's number 11. We won't end on a high note. We're going to end... We will end on a high note. What's going to happen in part 1? Part 2? What's going to be in the top 10? Is it going to be one of these? What's going to happen? What is going to happen?